We've unlocked a sub replay cast night. We've got a sub King of the Hill coming up as well. A lot of fun kind of sub things in the next couple of weeks, most likely. Just have to find actual dates for them. And just as we go into this game, I just wanted to talk about one more quick thing, guys, as I'm going to set up this this voting for you. And that one last thing is that if you guys do join us, or if you guys, even if this doesn't even count as like, you don't have to be subbed or whatever, like you can just be a normal person, whatever. But you can join us on our Discord channel. I'm trying to push the Discord more and more because I want to grow the community feel that we have here on the stream. And you can join us on the Discord. Subs can obviously access a sub channel. But we got that Discord, and you can talk about StarCraft. You can talk about whatever, really. We've got a few different channels, and again, we're trying to make it more active. So !Discord in the chat, and I'd love to see more of you on the Discord and chat with you every day. I type a lot in the Discord. I talk a lot in there, so we'd love to see more of you there. Bits and Bytes is enjoying the stream. Well, I hope you enjoy this one. To the upper right-hand side, our Red Zerg player from no team at all, because he's currently teamless. It is Namshar. And you can now hashtag Namshar or hashtag uThermal in the chat to show who you're supporting here in this best of three. To the top left-hand side, our Blue Terran player from Team Liquid is uThermal. Guys, if you were a subscriber before today, you don't have to PM me for the replay pack. It's just in your Twitch messages inbox. So if you're already a subscriber, just because I saw a couple of people PM me just now, if you're already a subscriber before today, then you can get it. Then you already have the replay pack. You already own it. It's in your Twitch messages inbox, so I don't have to whisper it out to you. So go check that. If you don't have it in your Twitch messages inbox, then let me know, of course, but you should have it there if you're already a sub. The Twitch message has some other info in. If you are a sub, I advise you read it, because it's got info on how you can enter a giveaway and some other bits and pieces. So go check that out, as we're going to be seeing this drone or two taking some hits. The Reaper arrives. The early couple of minutes of this game was nothing too crazy. But we are going to see now uThermal is starting to apply just a little bit of pressure. I mean, the Reaper isn't crazy or anything. And it is Battle of the Boardwalk for map number 1 of this series, a map which obviously creates a lot of interesting games and interesting scenarios, but it can also go kind of late, and we'll see what uThermal wants to play. I feel as though it's the sort of map he doesn't mind playing mech on at all, because he will definitely love to kind of like Catalyst, like we saw earlier against Guru. He can build up the mech army, he can sort of like rally push with mech on this map a little bit, so it's definitely something we could see a little bit of. As this Reaper just moves on over to the right, and looks to see what's going to happen. Oh my god. Suddenly sneezes. Suddenly sneezes. Wow. Alright, let's go through some of these supports coming in. Hashtag Namshar on the chat from GenFX. From Fat Casper 00. Some hashtag uThermals from XCOM and Dark Ones. Alt Cure Havoc. Hashtag uThergod from SkyBlue1. Port going for the hashtag Namshar. Texas93 as well. What's up, Texas? Haven't seen you in a while. Has it really been this long since I casted Namshar? Alright, well, keep those hashtags coming in. I want to see who you guys are supporting throughout this series. Keep them coming into the chat. And keep an eye on how that vote is going. As a lair comes up from Namshar, the Rotron's dropping down. Not super early lair, pretty much the lair time we've been seeing more and more of as of late in this patch, especially. Players are not building Pneumatized Carapace as much. The Overlord speed buff is seemingly making it so they just don't feel the need to do that as often. And we're just seeing more kind of, spend that initial gas on a lair rather than a fast upgrade, especially with mech being kind of the way that people are playing as well. We've been seeing a lot of kind of mech playing, so people don't really feel the need against mech to go fast upgrade. Would rather start getting tech up on the map, which will help them instead. Well, Namshar's in a little bit of trouble. He does not have a defense set up against these Hellions. I'm surprised uThermal didn't go for those drones on the low ground as a follow-up here. He goes into the main base instead. It just gives Namshar a bit more time to set up, as Hellions do end up going down for 12 workers. I mean, a couple of Hellions left. Will they get another shot off? I think it's fairly unlikely as they pull away down at the right-hand side. A couple more Zerglings going down in the very end. Roaches will chase. And that will be that. Banshee coming in towards the natural and will be the next wave of aggression here. Namshar already taking a lot of damage though. Nice save on this drone. A Spore Crawler builds. Should just keep it alive for a moment longer. And the Banshee through the top will be just looking to spread itself out, hit another mineral line in the next few moments. And some damage being done. Drones going down. And it's again good for uThermal, a great start, and there's the double armory behind this. So looking for the double upgrades, and we'll probably see now the double factory building up, and just setting up into, well, the next stage of this, which is liable to be the double 4-drop sort of thing. We'll see exactly very soon, but there's the 2 factories. I mean, 4 drops or not, it should be on Tech Labs. We'll see that reactor building on the starport. Looking like the very standard mech-based build here for the TvZ matchup. Well, 2 Banshees do arrive and start nibbling their way through this hatchery in the 4th base as well. And that will probably be a cancel here. Instant rebuild, doesn't lose the drone, which is obviously great. uThermal will try and cancel once again. He might actually get a kill. Instant rebuild once more, but that's 150 minerals uThermal wins there in that fight. Nicely done. Namshar, the 42% on the chat vote. uThermal at 58. Good stuff so far. Is Namshar still in Korea? Not right now. Under the impression no foreigners are in Korea at the moment. Everyone's going to Korea kind of sooner rather than later. Kind of soon, because GSL qualifiers got announced for just after Christmas. I think some players are even going to go for GSL qualifiers and actually like leave, before Christmas. So people are getting back to Korea. They're just sort of, because WSG was recently, and they're kind of waiting for information as well before booking flights, because they don't want to have this situation where they book flights and then all of a sudden like a WCS or something crazy gets announced, or some tournament which they have to travel for from Korea and maybe they have to pay their own way. They don't want to do that. Banshee through the top side, and we're going to see what else is going on. You'll see that Banshee picked off here in the end. Still some nice damage being done overall. uThermal actually just taking a supply lead at the moment, which obviously, when you're playing mech, is pretty scary for the Zerg, and apparently uThermal has enough minerals to build the double command center down on his 4th base, so he's going to throw down 2 CCs. I mean, an extra orbital will never go amiss, as we do see the 2 extra factories coming in as well, and we do see tanks just moving out, starting to siege up, and also some Hellions from uThermal all the way through the south side. Looking to see what else he might be able to do here. So some more Hellions all the way through the south, going to come back up and just running onto the creep. We'll find a couple of drones already. I mean, these Hellions are designed for run bys. They're his mineral dump. He doesn't need all of these in the in his army. Namshar, he's really kind of stacking his drones up at points here. I feel like 12 workers, and uThermal finds his way out with 4 of the Hellions as well. Crazy stuff. Those Hellions continue to move away through the south side, and we're all going to be seeing tunneling claws. Namshar's response to this is going to be to try and, well, get the roaches underneath the army, but uThermal's fairly cautious. He's already got turrets up at his bases, at least. Obviously, that will go a long way to helping out with something like a burrow play, and I guess what Namshar can hope for is maybe a scan not going off at the right time, and still managing to find his way under that army in some way. But uThermal is still building turrets. He's going to maybe even push forwards with turrets. We'll see how he does this. With this extra orbital that will come in here, he will have extra scans as well, so obviously that will help also. As we are going to be seeing +2 missiles, +1 carapace in the main. Namshar just continuing with those upgrades as well. The mech weapons, the mech armor, +2/+2. uThermal's upgrades also looking pretty great. And there we go, the first roaches burrowing forwards, but uThermal will see these in just a second. That missile turret will do its job, and well, now uThermal. The first burrow is always one of the scariest ones, because you just don't know that it's there necessarily. You have to, you don't know immediately, and so it can maybe catch you off guard. But obviously, shutting this down right away generally bodes very well for him. As now Namshar, I mean, that's resources he's invested that could have already been the infestation pit and the hive much faster, and so he does need to find some sort of value with this. I mean, one piece way he will find value is that uThermal will probably have to scan ahead of his army when he pushes across the map, etc., if he wants to be very safe. Just going to see those tanks still set up to the south side, a scan into the main base. Just sees the hive timing, so he knows he's not rushing to play against kind of Vipers or anything at the moment. He's got a little bit longer until that's the case here, but he can start to build the Vikings, because Vipers will be here in the next minute or two. It just gives him a rough time of what is indeed going on. Oh, that's morph into Hellions. Actually loads them up in towards Medivacs. I guess going to set up a couple different drops. So is he just going to go drop massive Hellbats in the main and use that to push through the south side of the map as a distraction? That could be interesting. He takes a tank as well. I'm really intrigued. It's not your normal sort of drop like Hellions and a few tanks. Looks as though he's going to go for like a bit of a Doom drop behind the natural expansion. Very interesting sort of setup as you're going to see some roaches pulling back. A bit of action here so far as we're going to be seeing his well, Medivacs boost in. It is just going to be behind the natural. He goes and there's the siege up. The Hydra Den is actually going to be in a little bit of trouble here. 13 drones killed already, and now pushing forward, scans to see if there's any burrowed units, so he knows he's not running on top of them. uThermal was playing this safely enough, and as those tanks continue to siege, Namshar will throw down a few biles, and I mean, he gets a single siege tank so far, but he still hasn't cleaned up this attack over here. There goes the Hydra's Den in the next couple of seconds, and as he gets rid of the Hydra Den, this hatchery looks as though it's going to fall too. uThermal still fighting on the south side. We are going to be seeing these tanks probably going to stay sieged up, but still kind of using a few of them to push forward, just leapfrog them in. Man, this drop to the top is still not being dealt with. Namshar just cannot find an answer at the moment. The Roach Roaring is starting to be under fire, as Roach is running especially. They just get absolutely murdered by the kind of damage of those tanks. And it's kind of insane as we're going to be seeing a couple of Hellbats dropping too, while those tanks are still pushing like we mentioned on the south side, and Namshar making pretty much pure Roach to try and fight against this. I mean, that's about it right now. As we're going to be seeing Roaches and Ravens going to keep on pushing in. Transformation services here, so Hellions morph into Hellbats just a little bit speedier. Well, eventually Namshar will clean this out. He'll push this away. Vikings land very quickly as well with that transformation servos. As we're actually going to see uThermal just saving a few units towards the back end of this. He'll actually siege up this tank as well. Obviously feels as though if the Hellbats in front, he can keep that tank alive. And again, this is the Bower of Battle on the boardwalk. It's pretty short kind of in terms of bases to bases. And of course, in terms of base to base, if it is short rush distance, then it's much easier to just push across and kind of rally like uThermal is doing. You don't just have to gather units or head back home to pick them up and move over. And it's also, especially on Battle on the Boardwalk, there's no real counterattack pathway which Namshar can use here very easily. You know, there's this one and this one, but, you know, uThermal has pretty good coverage of them, so he feels very safe rallying those units, knowing that Namshar isn't just going to be able to kind of pick off reinforcements one or two at a time, which is sometimes the issue and the concern when you do kind of rally units across the map on large amounts, and especially with mech, because you can't afford to lose expensive mech units, you know, every now and then just because your opponent has put a couple units to kind of distract and so on. Gold base is not going to have much of a better time in terms of surviving. There's two Hellbats. We'll get onto it. I mean, 2 drones so far, not a lot, but we'll get a third as it pops out, and obviously we'll stay on the hatchery and just do a little bit of damage. It forces units to come over, and the gold base is a difficult one to get on here. A few more corrosive bars up in the sky, and we are going to be seeing those rocks getting picked away at once again, over halfway killed here. We're going to be seeing these siege tanks. They're going to be picked off as well. Vikings up in the sky, picking off an Overseer. Tank fires away and kills yet another Queen. 7 drones going down. And these Hellbats are still just looking for more. They're going to go back into Hellion mode. Still no natural expansion. Get the kill on the Roach Roaring. Well, the Roach Roaring's going to die anyway. It bleeds out. Structures from Zerg players that are not on creep do take damage over time. Obviously, there used to be creep here provided by the hatchery, but the hatchery was killed. And Namshar did nothing about replacing that creep spread. The gold base also killed by these 2 Hellbats down here. Nicely done as uThermal still pushing forwards. Another 5 drones picked off, and well, even more damage being done as Hellbats just sitting in the mineral line, picking away at drones still. Once again, we're going to see Hellbats morphing into Hellions, pushing forwards too, and well, even more tanks sieging up. Here we go. I mean, those tanks are just going to be deadly. Hellbats are going to drop on top of Ravagers, and Hellions just running on forwards. There's just too much for uThermal. He's got 4k on the bank. GG, and uThermal takes game number 1 of this. My own personal Twitter, because I'm using it more and more every single day, more or less. So at WardiXO on Twitter if you guys want to follow me over there. And that will be our shoutouts for now. Fill the time before our next game. Our red Zerg player to the upper right hand side is Namshar. And to the bottom left, the blue Terran from Team Liquid, uThermal. Wardy sub greater than non-Wardy sub. Clearly this game was already decided. Roku, you're not right there. Namshar is a Wardy sub as of about a week ago. About a week ago. A true hero. A true hero. We set up in game number 2. Getting rolling here to see. Well, uThermal not proxy in barracks once again. It's just going to be seeing a couple more drones on the way out. And getting the hatch gas pool opening over the next few moments. What degree did I get in physics? Got a master's in physics. I got a 2-1, I think. It's kind of sad. I kind of thought I was doomed to get a 2-1, but then I did so well on my project somehow, like way beyond expectations. I probably could have got a first if I was like super close to a first in the end. It was kind of a little silly. Anyways, setting up and looking to see what's happening in game number 2 now. Looking to see what's going down. Looking to see what the builds are. Hatch gas pool initially, and it is once more this Reaper expansion out of uThermal. So, again, eyes open for the transitions though, and just exactly what both players will be kind of choosing to do over the next few moments. Reaper hopping up and going to be moving across the map towards the upper right hand side. Trying to do a little bit more damage here. As you're going to see, this Reaper is picking away at a Zergling. There's a Wardy in the GM list on EU. Is that the real Wardy? No, no, no. It's not risky either, though. It's also not risky. I know who it is, but it's not me and it's not risky. As you do see, this factory just going to be finishing up. The command center finishing on the natural. And there's the starboard being thrown down for uThermal. Well, there you go. Risky's going to tell you who it is. It's Figaro. Well, now you know. So I was being polite and not just revealing. Risky's just like, fuck that. I don't want to be seen to be low MMR. I'm not like only 5.9. Anyways, so you're just going to be seeing the Reaper just trying to deny the third base, just trying to slow things down a little bit. And you're going to be seeing the oh! The Queen actually blocked that for a moment. That was actually a cool little fight, a cool little interaction that we don't see going that way all of the time. The Queen actually blocking that hatch, and the Reaper nearly did that there. That was kind of close. We do see 2 Hellions moving across towards the upper right side and looking to see what else they can do. As we are going to see this armory starting up from uThermal. Throwing this behind the mineral line. So it's going to be some sort of Hellbat base play initially here now. Balin has to start from Namshar. Is it in time to defend? 4 minutes-ish? It might just be a little bit late to kind of deal with the initial wave of Hellbats. We'll see in a moment or so. Feelings just out in the natural, and a couple of Queens. Just coming forwards here as we're going to be seeing uThermal coming up to the top side. Cloak on the way on this starport then, so Cloak Banshee is a follow-up. He's going to use the medevac to elevate the first few Hellions into the main, so it's not going to be a full onslaught on the third base. Rather the Hellbats into the main. Let's see what they can do. He might just keep them as Hellions initially because the Queens are completely out of position. Okay, Lings will respond, but already 3 workers down. That's 5, that's 6. And he gets behind the mineral line to morph in the Hellbats now, just as the Zerglings start to arrive. And that's where the trouble will start. 4 more Hellions down to the south side. A couple of Bins morphing very far forwards, and uThermal actually cancelling 2 and 3 of those. The Spore Crawler finishing up isn't really going to affect this, as uThermal are going to find another Queen perhaps in a moment. More Hellbats in the center, still not doing too much else. And this Hellbat's still pushing on forward. Did one of these Hellbats go down? Looks as though it did. A couple more Lings coming into play here. We're going to be seeing those Banes helping to get rid of one of the Hellbats. One Hellbat chasing this Queen as well, still in the back as drones running through this Hellbat as well. Needs to be careful. Now actually going to stop moving, and the back. Oh my god, the medevac with the boost is actually getting this Hellbat on top of so many drones, but somehow only 3 have gone down. I can't believe it's only 3 kills. I feel as though it should be so many more with the way he was dropping on those drones. So many of them getting away in the red and the orange health. Now we see Hellbats in towards the third base. uThermal pushing forwards here to try and do a bit more once again. And being somewhat successful so far, it seems. Halbert's morphed back into Hellions, and we are going to see actually behind us. He went +1 vehicle weapons, but he's also going to go for the 1-1 attack upgrades on the Bio. Stimpack on the way. It's going to be Bio as a follow-up. Just so intrigued that he got +1 mech to then play Bio. Very interesting. Not what you would usually see at all. Few Hellions top side, seeing what else is happening. Hydrogen coming down behind the Military line in the natural expansion too. So again, that's set up and rolling. Going to see this hatchery dropping down here. As uThermal just pushing forwards and a little bit of damage being done, this drone becomes a hatch as well. And well, one more factory coming in on the third base. Muscular Augment starts up. Behind this mineral line and evolution chamber as well. More drones being picked away at, and this Banshee just getting some kills. uThermal about 20 supply ahead at the moment, and while the first push of the game, Halberts really did a lot. I mean, need we really say more? There's the income graph just to really kind of put things in perspective. All this time Namshar isn't mining, and all this time he's not getting the income he needs, and you can just see uThermal, okay, they traded out a little bit, but now that income lead's really starting to transfer into army supply. And uThermal will actually go across the map with first 2 medevacs now. 15 Marines. As they come over to do a little bit more. There we go. Stemming forwards, we're going to see a couple of creep teams getting picked away at, and well, there's a couple of queens here. We'll actually transfuse the higher energy one, which now does get targeted. uThermal just going to boost away, Banshee to the side again. I actually feel like he could have fought this. There's only a couple of Banes and there's not many Hydras. More Banes wouldn't have been there right away. Obviously he doesn't know what we know. And just playing it very carefully. Some Marines unloading. This Overlord coming down to the south. Hive builds on the natural. We are going to be seeing +2 mech weapons, so I guess uThermal just really wants to make these tanks super deadly. Super set deadly. You're going to see 7 drones going down. Hellions, obviously in the bio play, he's not going to be making more of those, but this is still good pickoffs, and he's still denying creep in the center as well. uThermal lifts up in the center, backs away once more, and still just playing out his advantage now as he comes over to the right-hand side once again. You can continue to pull away down all the way to the bottom right hand side. Hive will finish up in a moment or so from Namshar, and again drones just continue to nibble away. A few more Marines coming through the south. Still just taking map control, still just seeing what they're doing. Stemming forwards, we're going to see a scan coming down and some creep tumors getting picked away. That's Queen also going to get dropped. And a couple more creep tumors getting picked off too. 3 Vipers on the way up currently from Namshar. +2 melee, +1 carapace. Adrenal gland starting up as well in the spawning pool, so let's add to that as well as we do see the Marines moving up the left hand side. uThermal another big push, and he's going to have 2-2 for this one, and +2 mech weapons soon as well. I really feel that's I mean, this might just be the push to end it. I mean, Namshar's been behind, we know that. It's just this attack comes in when he's still only +1 melee weapons, still only +1 missiles, no carapace. He won't have the adrenal glands which he's invested into either, and these are all things which will hurt. At least he'll have the Vipers. A couple of tanks moving forwards. We're going to see those tanks continue to siege. Marines will stim on in, and we're going to see a Ling or drone going down. A couple more drones going down as well. This hatchery already taking some hits, and we are going to see a Halbert leading the charge. Just soak up a few more shots right here. As we're going to see Vipers. One of them goes down. Banes continue to move on in, and well, so far the Vipers haven't found the blind cards. There they go. Finally, those tanks getting hit, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the damage is already there. Some Banes on the backside will help to clean them up, but the Banes going off on tanks is generally not that much of an issue for uThermal, who has so many Marines left as well. And Namshar really kind of needed these Banes to deal the splash damage to clean this out. As we're going to be cleaning this up. uThermal takes game 2 and the series. He moves to the finals and qualifies himself